Hey, what's up, everybody? Navid Moazzez here. I'm a lifestyle entrepreneur and creator of Virtual Summit Mastery, and we help people just like you exponentially grow your email list, influence, and revenue. And for this session, I couldn't be more excited to have Neil Patel on, and we are going to dive into his kind of step-by-step guide to building an email marketing list from scratch. And pretty much, if he would start from zero today, kind of some of the strategies he would implement to build an engaged list. It's not just about building a really massive list, but actually ensuring people open your emails, click your emails, obviously generating money from that. So that's some stuff we will get into. But in case you're maybe been living under a rock and you don't know who Neil is yet, although he's kind of one of the top, if not the top online marketer out there, he's the co-founder of Crazy Egg, Kissmetrics, and Hello Bar. And he also has a great tool called Ubersuggest, which I've been using kind of for keyword research, backlink checks, and some content ideas. It's a great free tool actually, which kind of competes with some of the paid tools out there. And he also has a great podcast together with Eric Su called Marketing School, which I highly recommend as well. And he has obviously the wildly popular blog neilpatel.com with over 2 million visitors a month and is growing pretty quickly there. And he's the co-founder of Neil Patel Digital, and he does a lot of things basically. And I'm really excited to dive into this and basically getting his take on growing a really engaged email marketing list from scratch here. So with that being said, warm welcome, Neil.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, I mean, as I said in the intro, you have obviously a lot of different brands now. Obviously, you're focused on Neil Patel Digital, you have your blog, you have different software companies. So, for people to relate kind of to where you're coming from, you have a lot of traffic. So, you can put up an exit intent pop up, you capture a lot of traffic. You can publish a blog post, add a content upgrade, you get that. But let's say you were to start over, you had your skill set, which you have developed over the years, but you don't necessarily have the relationships. You obviously don't have all your brand and assets. What kind of would you start to get? Let's say we take this in different segments. Let's say get your first 100 email subscribers, then go to 1,000 and so on, and kind of how you would use that to kind of grow an engaged email list and start generating real revenue from that. So what was the kind of first step you would take here?
Yeah, sure. So the first step I would take is if I was building it up all over again, I wouldn't try to buy emails through Facebook or do anything like that. I would do a few things. So one, uh, I would tie in Messenger. Facebook Messenger converts extremely well into email addresses. Um, and when people come to your site, get them to message to you through chatbots like Mobile Monkeys, and it connects with Facebook Messenger. Not only can you get them through subscribe through a Facebook Messenger bot, you can also ask them for their email address. In addition to that, I would also leverage push notifications because it's just as effective as email. And then I would go and guest post on other people's sites within my space, and link people to a landing page where they can get an ebook or more detailed content that teaches them how to do it, and link to a page that squeezes them and collects the email. That's where I would start. If I had to use an opt-in method on my own site to collect emails, I wouldn't focus too much on emails. I would more so focus on a lead. An email itself, you'll find over time, doesn't convert as well as most people think. Getting a name, phone number, website URL, email, etc., converts so much better.
Awesome. And I mean, obviously, with the guest posting, anything you would do there, obviously, to make sure you're posting on, would you go on for the biggest sites right away, or which sites would you
No, go
start
for the
on,
most
Neil?
relevant sites. Like I would try to post on Social Media Examiner because I'm in the marketing space, Search Engine Journal, Search Engine Land, Marketing Land, all the relevant sites within the space.
And what's a great approach if you're a nobody to get to post on such websites like Social Media Examiner and other sites? Obviously, depends on the industry of the people watching. What would you do?
Believe it or not, if you hit up these sites and you hit up enough of them, you'll get accepted quite often. The reason being is they make their revenue, a lot of them through advertising, so they need more people publishing content. So it's
Okay.
not that hard. If you want a really good shoe-in way, network with some of the other past writers who you find on those sites, ask them for introduction, and typically you'll be accepted.
Awesome. And I mean, this is obviously quite, to get to 100 email subscribers doesn't take too much effort, right? So is this kind of, how long would you implement these strategies you just shared here? Like, does it change over time? Like, let's say get to 1,000, that's obviously it's shifted maybe a little bit to get to the 10,000, email subscribers. Anything you would do there to kind of grow from, let's say, the 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 email subscribers and make sure they're engaged as well when you're getting them onto your list and communicating with them as well?
I would do the same thing. I wouldn't change much. The big thing I would do though is I would scrub my list. So most people want the biggest email number, but the problem with the biggest email number is, if they're not opening it, it doesn't really matter. Like I look at my emails. I'm right now getting on average, the last email I sent a few days ago, I got a 26.8% open rate. Now that number will increase as time goes on because more people open it. I sent that email during non-ideal hours and a non-ideal day. But in general, I'm getting around a 30% open rate. Now, if you can
Wow.
get a 30% open rate, it's much better than having a huge list and getting a 5% open rate or a 10%. Because what you'll find is Gmail, Outlook, Hotmail, all these service providers, if you keep sending people emails and they're not opening them, they put your emails in the other inbox or the spam box. So you only want to be sending emails to people who are engaging. And that's why it's very important to scrub your list. It's not about having the biggest list, it's about having the most engaged list, because then you can drive revenue. If you don't have an engaged list and you just look for the number and optimize for it,
Yeah,
it's not going to work.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you mentioned that 26 to 30% open rate. I mean, your list is in the hundreds of thousands, I can expect, or what's
Correct.
your
Yeah.
list right now, Neil, if you don't mind sharing?
It varies. So that list got sent out to a segment of my list because I have different lists for different regions like
Sure.
Brazil, Portuguese, United States, different parts of Europe. But that list alone was for people who want some of my video-based content. It was 270,832 recipients.
Wow, that's a great
And
open
then
rate though. Like for
26.8% open. That'll
yeah.
increase over time to closer to 30, if not 30.
Okay.
5.1% clicked. I had a total of 16,818 clicks. I
Okay.
also had
Awesome.
588 unsubscribes, which is fine as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you do? Is there like in your email marketing service, is that kind of how you scrub your list? Do you use any other kind of third party tools for doing this better?
No, I use ConvertKit. ConvertKit automatically scrubs your list. They have this segment called cold, and I typically exclude the cold when I email out. And
I
they
see.
do it on a rolling basis, and every day more people get added into the cold.
Okay, awesome. And how do you kind of ensure? I mean, I know I'm on your list. You're kind of sending out whenever you publish blog posts, or at least every week, you kind of send out anything kind of to ensure for people. Let's say they're setting up this from scratch, they're implementing some of these strategies. What should they do? Like when people get onto your list, whether that's kind of from a messenger bot and you're getting them onto your list, or guest posting. Like what do you do when people kind of get onto your list to kind of ensure they stay engaged and having this kind of nurture sequence set up?
I send them an email right away. So I try to send them an email within the first 24 hours and send them one or two a week, and that's it. And when you ever have something to sell, then sell them on stuff. But
Do
I
you?
try to keep it simple. I try not to send too many emails. And I try to make sure every email that I send has value.
Got it. And what do you think about this approach? Actually, this has been coming up in some other sessions. Like, for example, digital marketer, they send like 2 emails a day or something like that. And I think they send like one, at least they say they send like one value email in the morning and then probably something to sell kind of later on, or at least like one email a day. I'm sure you've heard of people doing that. Maybe you have even tested this. Kind of what's your kind of take on this to sending kind of more frequently emails and kind of like some of these other companies out there? I'm sure it's working for some of them. They wouldn't be doing it like Russell Brunson sends a lot and stuff like that. What's your take on this?
It probably works for them. I just don't like it, so I don't do it.
Okay, got it.
I think of it this way. If you were getting an email every single day in your inbox from me, would you get irritated?
Depends if it was valuable. I mean, obviously, you see, or I mean, if you were selling every day to like pitching me on something, I guess
Okay, if I pitch you
that's
three
kind of the
times a week,
approach.
if I sent you 7 emails and I pitch you 3 times, would you get irritated? Honestly.
Uh,
Honestly.
Yeah, I guess if you're on my list and you weren't really interested in some of these offers, you're not segmenting. I guess some. I mean, I could be interested. I mean, I'm not so irritated, but I'm kind of putting myself in other people's
No,
shoes.
that's
They would
good.
probably be they
I'm
would
glad
probably
you're
be
not.
a little bit
I
irritated.
personally get irritated. I would just be like, screw this, unsubscribe. Like,
All
I
right.
like Russell Brunson. He's smart. He does well. I've unsubscribed to his mails too. I unsubscribed to Digital Marketer. I unsubscribed to most of them. I know them. They're smart. They make money, and it doesn't mean, and they probably make more money because they send more emails than me, and that's fine. I believe in the long run, if you want to do well, you got to think about the user experience. You may make less money in the short run, but it's just
Got
my
it.
take on it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
that's
data
interesting.
backing it up. It's just my
Yep.
take. Like, the data could show they're better off than I am.
No, absolutely. It's obviously we're gonna you're gonna nurture the way that works best, and also obviously you offer a lot to kind of I guess higher ticket and corporate clients and stuff like that. So maybe they work a little different than the way you're doing things. But I was interested to know, like, okay, you're building this up with different strategies. Kind of when do you start? I mean, when do you start developing an offer in this case? I mean, do you have an offer right away? What would you kind of would you start monetizing that kind of initial email list? When you get, let's say, the 1,000 to 10,000 a person list.
You sell them on products, info products, affiliate products, whatever you have to sell. Ideally, what you should be doing is creating your own products and eventually selling them on that. And again, I don't like selling over email. I don't think it's the most effective. What I do prefer is collecting leads, getting people on phone, and then selling them. I think you make so much more money by doing that. But again, that's just my take. If you don't want to sell, you don't have that skill set, then by all means, go with the route of just selling an ebook or whatever you can that's quick and easy.
Cool. And let me actually walk us through a little bit how this is, because I know on your site now you have kind of the consulting. You've also experimented a lot with kind of webinars. You had a course before, I think that sold at 997. You don't really do that anymore. So now I'm sure kind of focusing more on the really high ticket. So how does that work? I mean, you can probably do this even if you had a lot smaller list, and obviously you build up your kind of brand and expertise around this, and people kind of know you. How is this structured today? Like your high ticket offer, like do people kind of come on from blog posts, or how does this work to kind of get them on for these calls and close them on the sale?
Yeah, I just ask for all the form fields, name, URL, budget, company size, revenue, etc. Ask for as many as you can. And then I just try to schedule appointments, call them, figure out their problems, give them a custom solution. Now, not every business can do that, but doing that consultative approach helps. I have a friend, Timothy Sykes. He sells info products related to stocks, gets all the form fields. He doesn't do consulting, but he gets them on the phone, figures out what they're trying to do. If they're a good fit, his sales team closes them. He probably has over 30 salespeople. And I've seen people do better with that model than without having all those people on the phone.
Got it. Would you recommend if someone started a little bit from scratch, is that kind of the approach you would take to go high ticket? Maybe I'm sure, I mean, we use kind of we have a high ticket program for Virtual Summit Mastery, and we sell people on the phone for that, like via webinar or just kind of coming on from, let's say they download a cheat sheet and then we pitch them like, or get on the phone with us. Basically, it's like a strategy session. So what's kind of a good approach for someone? Maybe, I don't know what price point you have. I think it's like sometimes in the hundreds, 100,000 plus, or even 50,000, whatever. So that's kind of maybe higher ticket than even some of these VC, like in the online marketing space. Maybe that's between 5 to 10K, right? They get on a webinar and then they close them on the phone after that to get on the application. Is that kind of the approach you have tested as well, or something you would
We've
recommend people
tested,
starting from scratch?
yeah, we've tested it all. We've tested low ticket items like a few $1,000 all the way to over $1 million on the phone, and we found that all to work. We tend to focus on more the higher end. How can you get to like 500 grand, 700, a million, etc. It takes more time, more staff, but we found that to be our sweet spot. Now we also do sell, things for like $10,000 a year, 12,000 a year, and we found that to work is extremely well too.
Got it. And which one would you feel like, let's say you don't have this kind of, now you have a very established brand, obviously it helps when you sell in the 500K to $1 million level. But if you didn't have all this, would you start with the other approach, maybe a few $1,000s and kind of, build up from there,
No,
or what would you do?
I would go directly upstream. Think of it this way. If you look at some of the biggest companies out there, they don't have a brand. A lot of people don't know them, yet they still make hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. A personal brand doesn't mean you're going to make more money. For every personal brand that you tell me that makes a lot of money, I can name a corporate brand, and you won't be able to identify or name the CEO or probably anyone who works there, and yet they make more money.
Yeah, actually, I read your blog post why you wish you never built a personal brand, right? And you listed different things you were doing. You have YouTube content, you have blog, you have done this for a long, long time. But obviously, then you shared some examples around companies that, Apple, I think, and maybe Microsoft and other companies, right? And they, I mean, you might know the CEOs, but they will kind of live on. That's kind of the example you gave. So it's kind of depends if you wanted to build a lifestyle business or more kind of in the, few multiple seven figures, maybe you can get that too, or even eight figures, but then it kind of, I guess, gets harder to grow that. Is that kind of what you meant with this example?
Yeah, what happens to Tony Robbins after he passes away? I hope
Right.
he lives on forever and technology changes. He's a great guy. I don't know him personally, but he seems amazing. What
Yeah.
happens to his revenue stream after he passes away?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point for sure. I mean, his people come to his events because of Tony Robbins, right? And I mean, at least I could see would be hard for me to go to one of his events if he wasn't there, right? That's kind of why you pay all this money to attend. But that's a great example. So obviously, you have to kind of know what you're doing if you want to build a personal brand or not. But kind of keep going on this, kind of building up your list. Okay, so let's say you get. Is there anything that would change for getting from, let's say, the 10,000 email subscriber list to the 100,000? Anything you would kind of do differently, kind of to scale your list further and ensure, obviously, you mentioned a few tactics that you scrub your list and all of that, but anything you would kind of change to grow even faster after you have your initial list?
No, I wouldn't. It's the same stuff over and over again. I wouldn't recommend the tactics other people do, like Facebook ads and YouTube ads, to grow your list because the quality is much lower in your open rates. And I'm a prime example. I have amazing open rates and probably better than most people in the industry.
Awesome. And I know you
Right.
actually, I saw, like, I think you did it like, I don't know, it was a year, 2 years ago. You experimented with a few summits as well. What's your kind of approach to virtual events, event marketing, virtual summits, all of that kind of stuff that we do a lot ourselves? I know actually some of your team, they kind of, used some of our model to kind of have your pages and stuff like that. Any takes on that, kind of what you've seen across the board, how it worked for you maybe for kind of doing these events?
Yeah, the virtual summits work out really well. You can make good money from them, six figures a year, whatever you want to call it. Um, it worked out all right. I remember every time we did a virtual summit, we could generate, somewhere between 100 and something thousand to 200,000 in revenue, over 100,000 easily in profit. Um, and it just wasn't for me. It wasn't a big enough business. I didn't care to do it. I loved educating. I was like, why not just do it and give everything away for free versus charging for it? That's always
Right.
been my model. And charge
Yeah.
the big Fortune 500 companies and make your money there.
Exactly. I mean, what I thought, I mean, I've had some people in my program even kind of, doing summits to kind of grow their list, but then they can also get on applications. Depends kind of your strategy from that. I've done this myself where I get like, have the summit, maybe we sell an all access pass similar to you. Obviously, that's a low ticket. So still making, multiple six figures, that's pretty good. There's a lot of sales basically coming in, like 2,000-3,000 sales to get those figures. But then there's also obviously in some other industries like the health niche, and I think the Food Revolution Summit, they do like 200,000 opt-ins for their summits, and they are obviously generating multiple seven figures just from an all access pass, which is pretty amazing because you can obviously upsell them to other things. But I can agree, if you're selling like Fortune 500 and stuff like that, they probably maybe they wouldn't attend like such an event, would you say? Or there's more kind of I guess the beginners, intermediate and stuff like that might attend the virtual summit. So what did you find for yourself on these summits, if you have any data or stuff like that?
No, they're good. Like you said, you can end up building a list from it. It's great. Why not do them if you want to end up doing them? I personally just look at the virtual summits as I would just do it for lead generation, not for revenue, and use it to collect qualified companies to go and pitch for your products or services.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Actually, when I helped even Chandler Bolt back in the day, we just set a goal of, I think at the time, like 10,000 email subscribers. I think we got like 30,000. We didn't even set initially a revenue goal because we knew, okay, if we get that list up, for him, he didn't have a big list at the time. then we would actually make the money, and he obviously took that to a multi-seven-figure business eventually after kind of building all these partnerships. I think that's also something, building partnerships from this. If you don't have any partners, I think it's a great way to do it at scale. So kind of the influencer marketing side of things, instead of going out and maybe doing only one partner webinar here and there. That's kind of what I found myself. And obviously you had a lot of great speakers on your summits as well when you did it. And I'm sure maybe some of them, help you out in some way afterwards as well, because you featured them on those summits. So that's kind of what I found. So I don't know if you had a similar experience.
No, yeah. Overall, the experience was great. The only thing I would change is just not charge for the summit.
Cool. Awesome. And something I wanted to kind of get to is do you have any kind of hacks, like when people are on your list, or anything you are doing other than, you mentioned the scrubbing, anything that's you've seen kind of working really well for you today that's kind of, you said you're going to implement some of the same strategies for growing your list, but anything that kind of maintaining your list and having that relationships, anything you are doing to ensure they're opening the emails and all that kind of stuff ongoing?
Do a few things. So one, I scrub my lists. It automatically does it on a daily basis. Two, I try to write subject lines and emails that are very casual and informal. I found that it creates better open rates and click rates. Three, I only use text-based emails. Four, once a month, once every 2 months, somewhere around there, I send an email just asking a question, because it gets people to reply and engage, which then also helps increase my deliverability and my open rates.
Awesome. And in terms of that, also like for growing the list, would you use anything you didn't mention like social media and stuff like that. You have a big social platform today, but do you find that that's effective for growing an email list today, besides obviously the kind of messenger bot, which can be, that can be combined very well with the email marketing? At least that's what I found myself for kind of summits and for other things we are doing with webinars. But for, social media platforms, is that something you're leveraging a lot to kind of grow your list now? Like, now you have a bigger following, but like when you start from scratch, is that something you would do as well to build those up?
Yeah, if I was starting from scratch, I would definitely do that. I don't really do much of that right now, but I already have a built-in audience, right? So
yeah,
I just focus on continually doing what I'm doing and making it grow. But yeah, if you're starting from scratch, I would do everything from guest posting to leveraging social media. You can try summits. Anything out there, you should try. And if it works, do more of it. If it doesn't work, do less of it. One thing I would avoid is paid advertising, because you'll create a big list, but they won't be as qualified as someone who takes the time to read some content or a blog post or comes from another site that's similar to marketing. Paid advertising isn't bad. I would just make sure, if you're going to do that, keep those lists separated from your organic ones, because you'll find that the open rates and the conversion rates on the people who join from paid lists aren't as good.
That's really interesting, since a lot of people these days, they're trying to sell, especially like beginners, on, hey, you gotta do some paid ads and that's gonna solve all your problems. But obviously it's getting a lot more expensive, both with kind of Facebook ads, Google ads, all this, and also the competitive landscape. That's kind of one of the things. You need to be pretty damn good to be able to make it work too. And most likely if you are, a beginner, you're not gonna afford some, good ad person to run this for you to make sure it's gonna will be profitable as well. But something I wanted to get into as well is, which platform would you focus on for your own content creation if you started from scratch? I know you have a big blog and obviously SEO well, but you are really big on YouTube now, or at least is growing. You're doing your podcast, you're doing a bunch of things right now, but I think the blog was always the cornerstone, and then you added these other components as you kind of built more of a brand, right? So what would you focus on today if you started all over?
Now, keep in mind, my goal isn't to build an email list. I believe emails over time aren't going to be worth as much. So you're better off just trying to build a brand, collect leads, and not necessarily a personal brand. It could be a corporate brand as well. I think emails are still valuable. It's just they're not as valuable as they were 3-4 years ago. Hence, I try to collect full leads. Now, I would start off today with YouTube, because you can take that same, YouTube gives you the evergreen video traffic. And take that same video, re-upload it to LinkedIn, re-upload it to Facebook, re-upload it to Instagram TV. And those are the channels I would start with first. Then from there, go to podcasting. Then from there, go to blogging, text-based.
Got it. And would you actually take some, I know you had some great kind of content that you actually now, you had a lot of blog content already when you started YouTube. So you kind of tend to embed a lot of these into your blog, would you take some of this video content and like do yourself basically, okay, let's write an article about this, and then you have it. So basically get more for it and repurposing a lot of this content. Is that something you would do, or just kind of start from scratch kind of with the blog when you went over there?
Yeah, no, I do that currently. So sometimes I create a YouTube video, like I created one on Instagram followers and it did really well. And I recreated it as a text-based content roughly 30 days later.
Okay, great. And what do you have to, if you're gonna take this approach? Let's say you start with YouTube content, you have a great video. What are you gonna you like transcribe it on rev.com and then have your team or yourself writing up that post afterwards to
No,
structure it, or what's your approach to this?
so I use rev.com. I use rev.com for transcription because if you upload a transcription, you tend to get more plays, listens, clicks.
Sure.
So you should do that. And rev.com is probably the best service I found to do that. They're not paying me to say that. I truly believe that. I also, from there, when I find something that does well, I'll rewrite it, maybe add a little bit, and I'll do it myself. I don't really have my team, transcribe it and write it out or anything like that. I try to do it all over again and try to add in some unique points that are different.
Cool. And what would you say currently that is working well for you on YouTube to grow your list and kind of get people onto your website? I know you said it wasn't the primary goal for you to grow your list, but obviously I'm sure you get a lot of traffic from YouTube these days as well, since you have quite some videos and hundreds of, I think you have like 3, 4, 500,000 subscribers. What is it today actually? I think it was 300,000 a while back.
I have no idea, but let's look at my YouTube channel right now. I'll tell you my stats. I know my traffic stats roughly.
Yeah.
So I'll actually just go to Social Blade.
Yeah,
Social Blade, yeah, it's not bad. So Social Blade is showing, let's see. That's loading. Social Blade is showing I have over 366,000 subscribers. In the last 30 days, I had 879,000 views.
That's awesome. Awesome. And what would you say? What are you doing with most videos? Do you have a clear call to action to go to just subscribe to your channel, or is that also to visit your website, or what are you doing to kind of also get some people over to neilpatel.com to actually kind of subscribe to your email list or consume more of your other content and written-based content as well?
Yeah, you need a pitch within your video. So sorry about the bit jet lag, but you need a pitch within your video. So in other words, if in your video you're talking about marketing and ranking higher on Google through SEO, and I'll end up saying at the end like, hey, if you want me to help you with this, check out my ad agency, Neil Patel Digital, and that drives a lot of leads, more than just email, but a full lead. If I want people to download the ebook, I'll do the same thing, put a link in there and try to get people to go over to a landing page and collect that email. But the key is not just having the link in the video where people can click on, you also need to say it at the same time in the video. So having both helps much more.
Got it. And when did you actually, I mean, you started a while back on YouTube, but did you see kind of a tipping point? I've seen that with some YouTube channels. All of a sudden, they start growing a lot faster. Did you have a point where yours like just started to kind of, okay, you got a lot more subscribers? Was there a particular video that you posted? You just kind of went viral or something? Or what happened in your case to kind of, go from kind of the few thousand subscribers there to hundreds of thousands eventually?
No, it was just grinding it out. It was none of that. It just kept grinding it out and keep pushing and pushing, and eventually it did well. There was no one video.
That's kind of what I see with some channels are just growing really fast. I mean, you can check that obviously with Social Blade and other tools. They're just kind of blowing up. And some I just see they have like done it consistently over some time. I just saw one guy hit like 100,000 recently, just kind of been doing it for some time, and it does well eventually. Obviously, maybe some videos are doing better than others, right? So I wanted to kind of go back to kind of the blogging side of things as well, because you mentioned the podcast too. Is that not really a lead gen for it? I mean, does that drive a lot of traffic now today for kind of email lists and stuff like that, or that more for kind of building that brand? I saw you and Eric basically had, I think you're over 1 million listens a month now, and you're having this event as well because of that, and you're having this kind of, you're still kind of doing it really consistently, like every single day. I think you're posting an episode. What kind of impact do you say that kind of podcast have had for the brand, for the email list, for the business as a whole?
Yeah, so it's worked out quite well. We have over 1 million downloads a month. It ranges month to month. When I look at last 30 days, I'm actually pulling up my show right now so I can give you guys accurate information. So when I pull up my stats for the month of May, I had 1,022,997 downloads, so over 1 million. And what we ended up finding is, and we've been hovering over 1 million for a bit now, and what we found is through the podcast, if you ask for an email, you'll get an email. You won't get as much quantity as you will from some of the other channels, but the podcast audience is super engaged. They tend to be a higher quality audience. They tend to make more money. So the conversion rate from an email is much higher into a customer than most other channels that I've tested out.
Awesome. Yeah, I suggest actually. That's one of the podcasts I tend to listen to. So if you're watching, I'll link that below as well, so you can check it out. They do it like every day, so they're grinding definitely out, being consistent with that show. But okay, you mentioned obviously YouTube, podcast, and then you mentioned kind of then you would go over to the blog. So for someone kind of new, obviously now with neilpatel.com, you basically write an article and it doesn't take too much obviously to rank as long as you're obviously building some links and stuff like that. But if you're starting out, what would you do kind of to, I guess, get a blog going? Because it's a lot more, I guess, competitive to rank for something on YouTube. I experienced myself.
Yeah.
If I post a video, I just posted one recently on kind of membership sites, I rank instantly pretty much on, I interviewed Stu, I ranked for it, just getting like, 1,000, 2,000 views. I didn't even do much with it, right? But then I published a blog post, 5,000, I think it was even like 9,000 words. It
Yeah,
won't rank instantly. It takes a while, right? So what would you do there to kind of start ranking in Google as well to get that search traffic?
Well, I have a free tool called Ubersuggest. If you put in a URL, it literally breaks down everything on your site that you need to fix for free to get more Google traffic. Whether it's blog content, e-commerce page, it doesn't matter. It literally breaks it all down step by step. Like there's a audit report in there called Site Audit, and it tells you all the errors and stuff that you're doing that's slowing down your Google growth and your rankings. In addition, it tells you there's a backlinks report in there, shows you who links to your competition. You can hit those people up, try to ask them to link to you to get more referral traffic. That also boosts up your Google rankings over time. And there's even a lot of keyword analysis tools in there where you can put in a keyword. It gives you other keywords to target that get you more traffic that aren't as competitive, so you can get quicker rankings. And there's even competitive analysis features where you can put in competitor URLs and it tells you all the keywords they're getting traffic for as well.
That's awesome. I mean, that's
And again,
tool. I mean, it's free. So, I mean, I'm using it as well. I mean, there's Ahrefs, there's SEMrush, but this tool is like have at least I think most currently the features. There might be some differences, but I think like essential features, Ubersuggest for sure got. Initially was like a search. You basically could do a keyword research. Now it has backlinks, content ideas like BuzzSumo and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool actually what you can do. But I wanted to ask like, what's kind of a competitiveness should you go for when you're like writing an article and your site is pretty new? What kind of level should you kind of aim for to be able to rank for that, fairly quickly at least?
Yeah, you ideally want to go after any keyword that has less than 10 backlinks to rank in the top 10. And when you put in a keyword in Ubersuggest, it'll tell you how many links you need to rank in the top 10. You want to go ideally after anything that requires less than 10 links.
Got it. I've actually seen like some posts are, I mean, the internal linking obviously plays a role because some posts I've seen on my site, at least, they're ranking pretty well, but I don't have necessarily a lot of backlinks to some of these, but they still started ranking for some reasons. Is that kind of because of a good kind of internal linking structure, or is that because the content is old, or what's the reason might be for, ranking even though you don't have maybe so many backlinks sometimes?
Internal links is a great substitute. It helps a lot with rankings. Having a good title tag and meta description that are appealing where people want to click through. Think of like email copy. If you can make something like that, you can do quite well with email copy if you're using the same methodologies to create title tags, due to the fact that your title tags, it's not just about putting keywords in there, it's how many people click through when they do a Google search for your listing over the competitors. And if more people click on yours over the competitors, then your rankings start really drastically going up. And people are like, copy doesn't make too big of an effect. Well, think of your email copy. A shitty
Right.
subject line versus a good one drastically changes your open rate. It's the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And would you say also for what kind of length of content do you publish these days? I think I've seen that you kind of shifted a little bit approach to doing even kind of more personal kind of, I mean, still really actionable content, but more kind of with your personal story weaved in, or kind of some personal things you've done, tests in your business, experiments and stuff like that. What do you see kind of with that kind of length of content people should aim for to be able to rank for, I mean, more competitive keywords over time?
Yeah, I still write articles around 1,500 to 3,000 words. That's my sweet spot. I try not to be too short because it's not actionable enough. I try not to be too long because then no one really reads it all.
Okay, cool, cool. Have you seen that if you have, I mean, I know you did that before, these ultimate guides, do they still work to have like, let's say, anywhere from 5 to 20,000 words or whatever? I think these were even longer, some of the ones you did for Quick Sprout at least, and to some extent neilpatel.com. Do you feel that these still work and is worth the time and effort to do?
Yeah, I think it's worth it. I found that when I write a 20,000 word guide, there's no guarantee it does well. And
Yeah.
even though some of them do well and it's great, I found that I can get similar results writing a 5,000 word guide.
Yeah, because I see, and also kind of you're doing for you might some of them have been like for, let's say, online marketing, and or you Neil Patel, you kind of shifted a little bit the approach. I think it's like what is online marketing and stuff like that. So I guess going more for, do you go more for the long tail on Neil Patel, or what's kind of the approach you take more for the kind of Neil Patel versus what you did maybe before?
I do. I go for more of the long tail, and the reason being it converts much better into a quality email subscriber or a lead for me than when I go after head terms.
Awesome. Okay, this has been great. I wanted to see if you have anything final words for everyone watching, listening into this. Do you have anything to share? Any final words of wisdom here?
Scrub your list. It's the number one thing most people don't do that'll drastically change your email deliverability over time. The second biggest thing is email them asking a question and get a ton of responses. That'll improve your deliverability over time as well.
Awesome. And actually, something I saw on your site before I went, I'm not sure if you still have it, but there's like a spin to win thing that was kind of interesting that you've done. Also, I've seen before that you had this animated GIF background. Actually, we started using it as an exit intent too. What's kind
Yeah,
of the reason for the spin to win before you kind of wrap this up here? Is that working well for you?
it works really well. I still use it to this date. Animated background works really well too. I A/B test all this stuff.
And you segment based on their answers, or kind of they get a different gift if they kind of sign up. Is that kind of how it works?
Answers, geolocation, all that stuff. Everything's all customized.
And is there a tool that can do anime? I think Hello Bar could do to some extent some of the at least exit intents, right? But I could expect at least the spin to win is completely custom, right?
Completely custom. There's a tool called Privy that also has it, but mine's customized because I have too many requirements due to different languages and
Got
regions
it.
and all that stuff.
Thanks a lot, Neil, for coming on here. This has been amazing, sharing some great value, actionable strategies everyone who's watching can implement here. So if you're checking this out, leave a comment below with your biggest takeaway, maybe something Neil shared or something you will implement in your business, maybe something you're currently doing or something you can do better. Do let me know. Go check out Neil, all over the web, basically, neilpatel.com. You can check out Marketing School Podcast. It's fantastic. Always also consider using his tool Ubersuggest. It's fantastic for kind of doing keyword research, backlink checks, and getting some content ideas. He's basically building out this amazing tool. It's currently free. It's been free since it started, and he's just kind of adding new features and is kind of competing with some of the paid tools out there. So consider doing that, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.